Cheers. Welcome to Promontory Decking Headquarters, Episode 3. Today I made a couple big boo-boos. Also last week, I'll touch on a couple things, but first and foremost, I made a mistake. I had a bunch of wish list items in my Amazon cart, and Friday rolled around and I'd run out of printer ink. So I just needed a little $20 thing of printer ink. So I thought I had gone through and deselected all those items that I didn't want in my business cart and placed an order, went to work, phone was in my pocket. I got off work and looked at my phone and it was like, your order is placed, your order is placed, your order is placed. And I realized in my, a pit, my heart fell into my stomach. It was like, oh crap, I just spent way more money than I meant to spend right now. But they're all things that I wanted. I didn't need them right now. And even if I try to return them, that money's still just floating out in business days out in the world somewhere, and it'll take 10 of them to get back to me. So I kind of screwed myself by doing that. Then on my drive home today, or on my drive to work today, I noticed that my driver's front wheel in the van was spitting grease all over the wheel, and just a telltale sign that you've blown a bearing. Now keep in mind, this van is 40 years old, and I don't know when the last time anything was serviced, to be honest, other than the things that I've done. And I haven't touched the brakes or the bearings or anything since I've owned it. So I'm scrambling on my way home, in parking or in traffic, on my phone, trying to order parts. And I get on Amazon, the Amazon app, and I find everything I need. I put it in a cart and I order it, and I realize it's being delivered to my old address. So I'm like, oh crap. And I try to call them. I'm still in traffic. I'm on hold. I get a hold of someone at AutoZone, and they're like, we can't cancel your order. And I'm like, I just put it through. Here's the order number. So they tell me I have to wait for a tracking number. And this is all supposed to get delivered tomorrow. So it all happens like this. And I got to catch it right at the right time in order to cancel it. Otherwise, I'm going to get all of this stuff sent to the wrong address. And so they tell me that goes, I realize I'm not even going to get these parts, even if I cancel them. So I have to find another way to source them. So I try to call O'Reilly's, and I call the store because usually there's somebody that'll be able to help me make sure that I have the right bearing and the right race for that hub. But the lady that answers the phone is like, hello? And I'm like, I need some help. I need to find this bearing. And she seemed really apathetic and didn't care. And I'm like, it's for my 1986 E250 van. And she's like, okay, hold on. What year is it? 1986. What kind of van is it? And it was just kind of I could do all this online. And I just got impatient. And I was like, sorry, I'm going to do it online. Good luck. Have a good day. Sorry. Thanks. And I get on Amazon and I order all the parts, and I try and confirm the best I can with making sure they're the right bearing set, inner and outer, with the right races, and the pads and rotors and a whole kit for the brakes for the fronts. And I order it, and I make sure that the address is right this time. But then I realize that the rotors aren't going to get here until Friday, and we leave on Friday. And we were supposed to drive this van up to Big Bear this weekend, and I'm not going to have time to do it all. So just nightmare in the finances of Promontory Decking. But it'll all straighten out. Really have to get a check. I really need to get a check. We are one day away from a check, and we're almost done with the bamboo backyard. There's a couple other small things, and they want us to do he wants us to build, frame in the sauna and pour the pad. So we'll probably get started on that like right after we finish this gate and all the fencing is done. But another thing I want to talk about is like learning how to be like, I had an issue this week, not like an issue, but I realized that I kind of set one of my guys up for failure. And because I got a comment about it from the client. And it was like, we should fix this trim. And he just didn't quite understand what I wanted to see for the trim. And I didn't give him all the right materials for him to do that. So he kind of took what we had and made the best of it. But at that point, it just like, we had to rework it. And that's why we got the comment from the client. You know, it's their place. I should have been better. And I realized that it's like not something I can kind of get frustrated at him about. It's more of a reflection of how I have to be a better leader and a captain and a coach. And those are all roles that like I'm not really comfortable doing. I've been on my own for a while and just like working with my headphones on 40 hours a week trying to build this business. And now that I have like a team, my guys have like two different ways of tackling problems and like learning how to utilize them in their in the way that best suits the business for both of them. But regardless, the more time and the more reps that they get, the better they're going to get. And I have a hard time letting go of the craft of like doing things a certain way to achieve a certain result. And I realize that they're going to find their own ways of doing that. But that's been something kind of new for me as a business owner is how do I tailor my direction and my delegations to like best utilize their individual skills and harvest the most returns out of that strategy. So for instance, one of my guys is like a bull in a china shop and doesn't want to stand still, will work his butt off all day long in the sun, but he doesn't really come from a carpentry background. So although his work ethic is through the roof, we have to work on like some of the small, fine motor skills of like trigger control on the drills, you know, just like little things that like carpenters develop over time. But he's close and he's a real fast learner. And then I have another guy who's like almost too he's like super analytical and wants things to be really perfect, and he pays attention to the small details and he catches things with his eyes that I skip over sometimes, and that's great. But when it comes to like installations and stuff, you know, we need to be quick to be profitable. We need to have a quick production time, and I think we're all kind of learning how to run the job site a little bit more efficiently, stay out of each other's way. But it's a learning process. And does anybody ever else feel like that? Like, am I doing the best thing I can for my team to get better? You know, at the end of the day, I want us all pushing towards the same common goal. And, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to make all the things work. And then when I get home, it's time to turn on my daddy hat and not be this like stress ball with running a business, and still be like, I don't know, happy. And because I am happy, I'm just stressed the heck out because it's a lot. And nobody's going to do it for me. So anyway, that's pretty much all I all I can think of for right now. And I want to keep these episodes relatively short as we kind of dial in our direction and we dial in like what we're trying to achieve with this. So they'll just be short for now. But thanks for paying attention, any of you out there. See you on the next one.